everyone. And today we've got Sarah, Diane, and welcome executive producer Risa Frisky, who joins us on the table this morning. The boss lady herself is in the house. That just goes to show that even the strongest women have kid troubles. Ain't that right, Risa?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, we talk about it all the time. I wanted to talk this morning about the frenemy. Does everybody know what a frenemy is?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Had several.
Did you really?
I think I only had frenemies for, at least I felt that way through like middle school.
Do they go past elementary? I guess they're pretty much everywhere, right? In every stage of life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, we're
yeah.
having a little bit of an issue in the elementary level where some kids are nice one day, not so nice the next day, but it really does affect the kid, or my child in this case, and how they feel about going to school. What is y'all's take on frenemies, and how do you deal with them?
Well, I'll just say that Eli's been crying, one of my twins has been crying a lot every day before school. And just like you had mentioned earlier, just a bad mood, and I don't like school. And it's that people are calling him a particular name that is very, very hurtful. And this has now, so it's what started as, I think, a frenemy thing has kind of like spread through the school. So then a second grader did something to him the other day on the playground. A kid called him something that I was mortified at. And the first step that I took was, talking to Eli. And then I actually went to the teacher and just said, "Are you aware that this is happening?" And they said no, and thank you. And then they're starting to notice him coming in upset, this, that, and the other. But I think the communication with the school was important as a first step if you really think it's affecting their day-to-day and personal.
Yeah.
Because there is a way that they can say, hey, this is, it's not how we act.
No, and it really hurts to think that a child feels that way about school, not wanting to go, and it's even affecting like their mood at age 8. But I see it with my 8-year-old too.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
Yeah. No, my son, not so much. My daughter, I dealt with it a lot, but she always had a lot of friends. And so, we're not talking to her today, or we're not talking to them today, like how girls
can be.
But like you, I was at that school though. You're not playing with me or my baby, because I'll knock all of this over.
Yeah.
So I would,
Right. Yeah.
So I would go. And there were plenty of times when I sat in rooms with the other parents, because I'm like, we know each other. We drop our kids off at I drop my kids off at your house. You drop your kids off at mine. I feel like we need to be able to have a conversation with these girls. So I just went to the school. All the parents, all the girls, we came in a room. I was like, and if you guys aren't going to be friends, cool. But what we're not going to do is gang up on anybody or be mean to anybody.
And with Eli, I said to him, you need to go up to these kids. You're tall now, and you don't need to hit anyone. You don't need to say bad names. You need to go up and say, cut it out. And look them in the eye and use your strong words and don't run away and cry. Advocate for yourself. And I hate but there is I do think kids would back off if you
were to
have
do
a little more
that.
confidence.
Yeah.
And then I do. I'm not sure, but I think in your case, does a call to the mom that you were, I'm guessing, friendly with, say, hey, have you noticed this dynamic between the girls, and not make it about the other, but
about all the girls.
The girls, and even between our two, that there's this little dynamic, and the friendship matters so much to my daughter that I just wanted to call and see if you're feeling.
It's fairly new to me, so I'm still trying to figure out how to deal with it, because I know they're friends. And what's weird is, they are friends, but then sometimes there's days when they're not friends. And I'm like, what is going on? So I'm still trying to navigate through it and see what's the best solution. But I agree, talking to your child is number one with something like this, and then with the parents.
Yeah, and you don't want your kid to be the frenemy. You don't want them to take on those behaviors, because they see that the popular kids act this way. So they start to maybe adopt some of those behaviors. So I've always had I'm always watching out, like when my daughter was going through middle school and in elementary school, also she had some anxiety that would present. So like kids had used that as a target, they saw that as a weakness and would, so I always had my eye on that to make sure that, when she would have a vulnerable day or a vulnerable moment, that there weren't other kids there take advantage of that or single her out in any way. So yeah, the frenemy is, I mean, I think growing up, you just have a friend who's like your friend one day and then not one day.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
I never knew
I
what
went
that was
through it.
all about. I was always just try to be kind to everybody.
Same.
Take the high road.
Yeah, but and too, I think, right, like we've heard all the stories about people who like, I'm older now. Sorry, I was a bully to you when we were. And it's,
Thank you.
And it's
I got
usually,
that.
I know.
Later.
They're like,
high
well, you
school
made my
reunion.
life hell. Like, first of all. We've heard all the stories about people who like, I'm older now. Sorry, I was a bully to you when we were. And it's,
Thank you.
And it's
I got
usually,
that.
I know.
Later.
They're like, well,
high
you
school
made my
reunion.
life hell. Like, first of all, but I think, right, a lot of the, you know, a lot of what the things that we hear is like, oh, I was going through like a really hard time at home, or like there's usually something
There's
else.
always something that's
Triggering it.
triggering that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
I've found that to be true as well.
I used to tell my daughter, just go. You know, whatever they say, you're going to have a friend who's going to love you one day. Just be kind to them. And you're right. Maybe they brought something. They're carrying their own luggage, you know, so to speak, emotional. So you just go, you know what, you got to blow that off, because these kids, number one, probably don't know a lot about what they're saying. They don't, you know, really realize the impact of it. They just maybe hear it on TV, or they hear something at home and they bring it to school and think that it's cool to say that or single somebody out, so it elevates them. And so you just say, look, if you want them to be friends, sometimes those people that tease you the most want to be your friend the most, and they just don't know how to. They're jealous of you, or they're upset by you, or they want to be your friend and they can't.
Or they don't.
Right.
I don't know.
There's that reality, too.
It's like boys hit you when they like you. No,
Yes.
teach your sons not to hit.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
why are we hitting each other?
Yeah. True.
I think like there needs to be a conversation first with your baby. Yes,
Yep.
you want things to roll off your back. I'm 38 years old, and you could still hurt my
Oh,
feelings and
any
I'll
day.
cry.
Yep.
And so
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah.
will help. But yes, stand up for yourself. But I feel like bring the parents in.
Yeah,
we
the
need to have a
school's going to.
conversation with
Yeah.
all the kids.
But once it gets to, I think, to that point and that level where it's really affecting the child, absolutely, 100%, something has to be
tough out
done
there.
on all levels.
I don't like that it's
It is
starting at 8
tough.
these days. I remember like 5th, 6th
Yeah.
feeling, do you
But
know
not
what I mean?
this young. You're right.
But I mean,
not
they're-
this young.
I know, the world's
as
changing.
and we're overly informed,
I know.
including our babies.
I know.
And so,
I know.
Yep.
poor baby.
We are overly informed, and I think kids are growing up a little too fast.
I do too.
You know, and it has a lot to do with social media
I
and
agree.
everything
Access.
they watch.
I
on
agree.
The access, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about when you guys grew up? When we were growing up? I mean, we had the frenemies, but I don't remember ever feeling as bad as like my 8-year-old feels. Like I just dealt with it. Or my parents, I don't remember having like that conversation with my parents and, oh my gosh, getting all emotional about it. I just remember having to just deal.
But
Yeah.
that's our generation, though. Our generation
was different.
Was forced to be. I don't know if it was a good different though. I think
Yeah.
we just had to take it.
We
and
had to
like,
take it.
You weren't going home and crying, and your parents are going to be like, "Oh, my poor baby." They're going to be like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Like I got my own stuff. Where now we are raising more socially aware and emotionally intelligent babies, and they're right. Like, and I think it's good because. I had one of my best friends was my frenemy. I mean, we're not friends anymore. Like,
Okay.
but she was my frenemy in school, and she would be my best friend one day, and then we'd go to school the next day, and she wouldn't speak to me, and then she would be my friend another day, and I
mean.
went to another school. Like my mom made me transfer schools, so I was going to a new school, trying to find your friend group, and we stayed friends for a long time, and then in our adult years, I finally was like, I've always been your friend. You've never been mine. Like, we
Whoa.
should end this, and I am.
Good. Good.
But in my 30s, I had to heal from
all that
childhood trauma.
damage,
Yeah.
right? Because it
it's
was.
not that
yeah.
it wasn't there. It's just I suppressed it, and I didn't allow myself to feel those emotions, and I couldn't go to my mom and dad like, hey, this is happening,
Like what?
You've had some encounters too with mean kiddos that later on in life you were able to
Yeah.
to finally confront them.
Yeah, no, I had a friend also who was in school. She was very popular, so she didn't connect. She didn't associate with me in school. But as soon as it was over, she would say, "You want to come over to my house and hang out?" And like we were best friends after school. And so, and that was in elementary school. That started then. And then, and I just always was, I kind of went, well, it's okay. I just let it go.
Yeah,
you
would let it go.
But
and
she
that was
showed
it.
up on my doorstep when we were in our 20s, like, at college age. She shows up and just was like, "Hi, I've missed you. I've been thinking about you." I'm like, I don't think about you at all. I think frenemies, like I said, that's why I said sometimes they want to be your friend or you resonate with them more than you think you do. But later on in life, they get mature enough to recognize it. But I don't know. I think that girls especially, they have the moody group.
Yeah.
And they go with whoever. And if someone says it's blue today, then everyone's going to be blue. And if it's just, there's always going to be that thing.
I hate it.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I always say
I
take
do
the high
too.
road.
I do too.
But I'm
it's
sure
really
moms
hard.
have suggestions. This is a big one.
This is a big one. If you have any questions out there, please send them our way. So you can join the conversation by sending us an email to mycoco@9news.com. Thank you, mamas.